Support for NPR podcasts comes from T. Rowe Price, managing investments for the long term with a consistent, disciplined approach. T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence at troweprice.com.
Hello and welcome to Car Talk from National Public Radio with us, Click and Clack, the Tappet brothers. We're broadcasting this week from the Cartooning with the Stars department here at Car Talk Plaza.
Yeah, we have a new project that's launching next year, and we need a little help with it. Why? Well, because we're extremely lazy, that's why, and we're totally lacking in ingenuity.
Evidently. Well, the project is this. You ready?
Yeah.
Next summer, PBS is going to air a primetime animated sitcom based on Car Talk.
Well, I wouldn't say it's based on Car Talk exactly. I mean, it's about two lazy brothers. They fix cars, they have a radio show on NPR, and they screw up everything they touch.
Pure fiction.
Absolutely.
By the way, what are their names on the show?
Click and Clack.
I still deny everything. Anyway, here's what we need help with. We have to come up with a name for the show. This thing's supposed to launch in like 6 or 8 months, and it doesn't have a name yet. And PBS is starting to get ticked off at us.
Yeah, I mean, they're threatening to call it Wall Street Week because they already own that name. They'll use it again.
Why not? Anyway, here's the deal. We would like you, our listeners, to suggest ideas for names for this show.
It's a situation comedy starring animated versions of who? Us. And the other mechanics who work with us at the garage.
And if you suggest an idea that we either use as the name of the show or your idea helps get us to the name for the show, you'll get to make, you ready for this, a cameo appearance on an episode of the cartoon next summer. How's that?
Cameo? No money? They're not going to get money?
Dream on.
All right, now keep in mind, several people may suggest the same idea, in which case we'll have to pick one person at random to make the cameo and potentially invoke the go jump in the lake clause.
But look, if you want to help us name our new animated sitcom, go over to our website and check out the details about the show.
Yeah, we have pictures of the main characters, examples of the sets, and stuff like that to get you in the mood.
Now, if you're in the mood for a wrong answer about your car problem, you can give us a call right now. We're at 888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255, a lawyer on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Christina. I'm calling from Iowa City, Iowa.
Christina or Christine?
Christina with an A.
With an A, that's what I thought.
Okay. What's up, Christina?
Well, we have a 96 Honda Accord with about 180,000 miles on it. And
who's we?
Me and my husband.
Ah.
So about 2 weeks ago, we went out to drive to the store, and the car wouldn't start. So we had it towed to the shop.
Wait. When you say it wouldn't start, you turned the key and what happened?
It turned over. It made like a ka-chugga-chugga-chugga noise and then died.
Did it sound like the normal chugga-chugga noise, or was it a different kind of noise?
It kind of started out normally like it was going to start up.
Yeah. All right. Got it. And then what happened?
So we let it sit overnight, tried to start again the next day, same problem. And we tried a few times, and after you tried a few times, it kind of started to smell like burning plastic. So we stopped doing that, and we had it towed to the mechanic.
Yeah.
And the next day, the mechanic called and said it started right up, no problem. I'm not sure what's wrong. So he kept it for a few days.
So what are you wasting our time for?
Unfortunately, there's a little more to the story. He kept it for a few days, and he replaced a wire to a sensor that he thought might be the problem. And we picked up the car, brought it home, started up, no problem. And then the next day, I was planning to take a trip about an hour away to a meeting. Wouldn't start at all. Again, back to the same noise,
yeah.
You know, like it was trying to start, but just couldn't get going.
Right.
And it hasn't started since then.
When you try to start it, as you continue to hold the key to the crank position, you say it makes this chugga noise. Does it continue to make the same noise while it won't start, or does it gradually degenerate into
No, it's not that.
I don't think so either.
This an automatic transmission?
No, it's a
stick shift.
manual.
It's a manual shift.
And if you keep the key turned to the crank position, it will just keep doing chugga.
It actually, if you keep the key turned, it does the chugga. But even if you hold that key turned, it stops on its own.
It stops chugga-chuggering.
Yes.
I mean, does it go from chugga, chugga, chugga to nothing? Or does it go chugga, 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 chugga to nothing?
It goes more chugga, chugga, clunk, clunk, stop.
Well, it's pretty clear you need a new pair of fuzzy dice. Well, I mean, here's my gut feeling about it.
Go ahead.
I'm not so sure that you're not describing a typical starter motor sound. I'm not sure of that. I mean, in other words, the times when it does start, is the chugga chugga noise different?
No.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
I think then my gut reaction is you need a fuel pump relay.
A fuel pump relay.
Yeah, and that's pretty typical on these cars that the relay will not allow current to get to a faulty relay, will not allow current to get to the fuel pump. And so you can crank this thing until the cows come home.
And it's not getting any gas.
Okay. Now that sounds actually much better than our mechanic thought that it was either we've not had the car towed back there. It's still sitting in our garage, but we called and talked to him and he said he thought it was either the cam sensor or the crank sensor, and replacing one of those was going to be pretty pricey.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Okay.
The cam sensor is inside the distributor on this thing, I believe, and that's big money.
96.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't go ahead and do that. It would be nice if he had the car when it misbehaved.
Yeah.
And what we do when we get cars like this is we tell people, leave the thing for as long as it takes for us to see the symptom, and we hook up all our test equipment to it, including a fuel pressure gauge. And when it cranks and doesn't start and he sees that the fuel pressure is 0, he'll go ahead and replace the fuel pump relay.
Okay.
And in 9 cases out of 10, it solves these problems on Hondas.
Great.
All right. Well, you'll be the one that doesn't, but that's all right. See you, Christina.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thanks for your call.
Bye.
Bye. 888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Pete from South Beach, Florida.
Hey, Pete, how are you?
South Beach.
Yeah,
How's everything in South Beach?
sunny. Everything's sunny here.
Oh, man.
How's real estate doing in South Beach? Is it?
I'm a high school teacher, so I would not know other than my rent is crazy.
Well, what are you doing living in South Beach? Of course it's going to be high living there.
Well, what do you want to live in the suburbs for when you got the beach right there?
Well, that's
Yeah.
true. I can't blame you for that. What's going on anyway?
Okay, here's the deal. I'm
Yeah.
wondering if when I use my friend's 2002 Mini Cooper to jumpstart my 2002 Hyundai Accent, if that's the reason why our car's electric system is completely fried.
Hers is?
Yeah.
No.
Well, no. You're thinking there's some disparity between the sizes of the batteries or charging systems, or?
Well, no. What happened is her car about a week or two ago just started going crazy. It was possessed.
Her
Light-
car.
Yeah, lights going on and off, dimmer lights going on and off, unlocking and locking. So she took it in, and they tried to figure it out. They've taken out the computer system and put in a new computer system.
And prior to that, what was going on?
With her car or with mine?
Well, with both.
Well, with mine, I just needed a jump start because the connection to my battery was loose.
And when did that happen?
That was about 1 to 2 weeks before her car went crazy.
So she jump-started your car,
Yeah.
and then a couple
No.
of weeks...
She didn't jumpstart anything. Pete hooked up the cables. Is that right, Pete?
That's exactly right.
But her car jump-started your car.
Yes.
And a week or two later, her car started
Her
acting
car
up.
started going crazy, and you guys want to know, is it because she used her car to jumpstart your car? And the answer is no.
Oh.
Wait.
Oh, no, the answer is no. That's it.
Well, the answer is no, unless, Pete, and you gotta, unless you
screwed it up.
Right. He's laughing. Is there a chance that the first time around, you hooked the cables up wrong and then said, whoops, and then put them correctly?
Okay, this car is her baby. She loves this car. Mini Cooper.
You notice he didn't answer right away?
I didn't answer, no.
Yeah. He's using a diversionary tactic.
Plus to plus and minus to minus.
I know, yes. And I actually even confirmed it before I did it because I wanted to make super sure that I did it right.
Super sure.
Because the car is her baby.
Yes.
So before you did anything, you made sure you had the 2 pluses right and the 2 minuses right, and then you hooked them up.
And when you did that, did your car start up immediately?
Right away.
Right away. Okay. And then what did you do then?
And then I took the wires off.
How long did they stay hooked up? I mean, after your car started, did you didn't go for coffee or anything and leave the wires hooked up? You removed the jumper cables.
Yeah, we moved. Yep.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking. Okay.
Then what I said is true.
Wow.
No, you didn't screw up
You
anything.
didn't do anything.
Well, then let me ask you this.
Is she blaming you for this?
No. We actually live close to each other in South Beach and commute to we teach at the same school in Miami.
Yeah.
So she's heartbroken over this car, and we're trying to figure out if it was my fault and how do we save this friendship? Where do we go from here?
Oh, so
she's standing here. She's got a smile on her face, and she's thinking like,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, what's her name?
Emily.
We need to speak to Emily.
Okay, I'll put Emily on.
Hello?
Emily,
Hi,
don't
Emily.
ever let this knucklehead near your car again. Are you kidding me? What is wrong with you?
No.
I had a pit of dread actually when he asked if I would jump his car, but I thought I would be a good Samaritan. I didn't want to be one of those crazy Mini Cooper people.
See what that gets you being a good Samaritan? You let Pete cook your entire electrical system.
Well, tell us exactly what happened to your car and when it happened.
10 days to 2 weeks after I gave him the jump start,
Yeah.
I was driving home from work, and the electrical system went haywire all within about a half an hour period.
Oh, and in what way?
The dashboard lights
You're
dimming,
driving home, and all of a sudden you see dashboard lights doing things.
dimming. Yeah, tire monitor comes on. I turn on the turn signal. It doesn't work. And then suddenly, 15 minutes later, it comes on by itself.
So you then took it to the dealership.
Yeah, I took it to another mechanic. They said, we're not comfortable with this, and then I took it to the dealership.
And what did they do?
They replaced the turn signal, then took that back out again because that wasn't it.
Yeah, that was stupid.
They thought it might be a bad brain, basically, and so they replaced the main brain computer.
Pete's got that.
And they said that wasn't it either, so they put the old one back in again.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it sounds like you have one of two things: either a good old and it's this happens all the time that people who have technicians who are working on sophisticated cars, the first thing they do is they hook up their scan tools, and they're hoping that they find some problem with the software or with the computer or whatever, and they tend to overlook sometimes the obvious stuff. It sounds to me like you have a good old-fashioned loose connection someplace or a bad alternator.
Okay.
And a bad alternator could make what happened to you happen, and then it could start working correctly. You know, it could be a stuck brush, or it could be some kind of a bad connection inside the alternator, and it could correct itself and then go back and do it all over again and go back and forth until, in fact, it gets replaced and the problem goes away.
Okay.
Did you do anything to the car in those 10 days?
Nothing. Just drove it normally.
Just drove it.
So for 10 days, it was okay after Pete tried to wreck your car.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there any reason that Pete would be jealous or envious of your car, Emily? Or
He might.
Sure.
It's awfully cute.
Do you have a boyfriend that he might not, is there something going on between you and Pete, or is this just a platonic relationship?
Well,
Because all these things could be relevant, you know.
He is my colleague and coworker.
Is that it?
Is that the extent to which you're willing to divulge your details about your relationship?
Well, I mean, they don't want anyone from the school to know what's privately going on.
No,
We're just
that is
assuming.
not the case.
That is not the case.
No, that is not the
Everything
case.
is exactly what it seems to be.
Yes, it is. We're neighbors, friends, and colleagues.
Okay, that's good. That's good enough for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's a story you want to peddle, Emily, it's good enough for us. Well, but I think
I agree with my brother about the loose connection.
Okay.
Right.
So my car is currently at the dealer. It's been there for 3.5 weeks. Do I go get it back? What do I do?
No, you got to let them fix it.
It may. I mean, you hate to suggest to them that they overlook something obvious, but I think they may have. But there may be a lot more to this, and there may be other minis that are having the same problem.
Okay.
And if there are, they're going to get the factory guys in there.
Okay.
And you should suggest that. Say, they need to have Dieter come from the factory.
But they must have done this already.
Well, I know that they've emailed BMW twice, and they just sent the schematics last Thursday to the mothership. And then there was somebody coming yesterday.
Okay.
To
So
the dealership.
they're on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Dieter and Georg are going to come in, and they're going to fix this up. But Pete didn't do it.
Okay.
So your relationship, professional and otherwise, is still intact, Emily.
There
It
is
is
no
still intact.
otherwise.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, there is no otherwise.
There
I'm
is
sorry.
no otherwise.
All right.
Very
And we're with you.
But just to be on the
no.
safe side, Emily, don't ever let him open the hood of your car again.
I won't.
See you later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Say goodbye
See you,
to Pete
Pete.
for us.
Bye.
Oh, boy. All right. Tommy, do you remember last week's puzzle? You
Yes,
said,
I do. Well, I don't really, but I have an idea of what it's about. The puzzler has to do with brothers and sisters. How's that?
That's very good.
Because I keep saying to myself, brothers and sisters, I have none. What is that about?
Well, there was another puzzler I used.
Oh, that was a different one.
That man's grandfather is my uncle's son. Or
yeah,
something,
well,
right?
that's what I'm thinking of.
Well,
and I've been thinking of it all week.
Well,
It's more than I've ever remembered before. It's funny because I met somebody in the square, Harvard Square one day, and he said, "Tell me something." He said, "Do you really never remember the puzzler?" And I said, "Yeah, really, I never remember the
That's
puzzler,
true.
but this week I remember it."
You didn't remember.
Well, it had to do with brothers and sisters.
It does have to do with brothers and sisters, and
Isn't that good enough? What do you want from me? It's a step in the right direction. I'm getting close.
it was indeed about brothers and sisters, and you know what? It's good enough.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
We'll be back with the answer to the puzzler and more of your calls in just a minute, so please stay tuned.
My old car is an Oldsmobile, an 81 with full platinum wheels. Timing belt broke years ago. Nowhere fast is where she goes. Bumper dents and window cracks. From being in reverse without looking back. She and I were the best of friends, even if she only got AM. But she is keeping warm under that old familiar tarp. Covered up and broken down, making brown spots in the yard. She was in her prime of life back 20 years ago. Now it's time to say goodbye and let her go.
And even though North Korea agrees to dismantle its radio antennas whenever we say it, this is NPR, National Public Radio. Hey, if you find yourself thinking, this show gets worse every time I hear it, why not check out some classic shows from our archives, like when we used to be good?
When was that?
It's just a figure of speech,
You can download any show from the Car Talk archives at cartalk.com. Just click where it says listen to the show.
Hi, we're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappet brothers, and we're here to talk about cars, car repair, and, of course, the answer to last week's puzzler. This was a nice, short puzzler.
Yeah, before you got to it.
Well, even then, it was still pretty straightforward, and it was sent in by a fellow named Richard Raridan, and it went like this.
Go ahead.
In a certain family, each daughter has the same number of brothers and sisters, okay?
Oh.
And each son has twice as many sisters as brothers. So the question was, very simply, how many sons and daughters are in the family?
I have no idea. I never thought about this because I didn't
remember this
but
amount
the
of
numbers
specifics.
3 and 1 come to mind.
Close.
Yeah?
Wrong.
I don't know what I was looking for.
Yeah, well, you know what would help?
You have to think about these, don't you?
Yes, and unfortunately, your answers are often unencumbered by the thought process.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have no idea why 3 and 1 came to me.
Well, of course. So I'm going to repeat the puzzler.
And they were wrong.
In a certain family, each daughter had the same number of brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Each son had twice as many sisters as brothers.
Oh.
So the question was, how many sons and daughters are in the family? Now, you could do it like my brother did it, or you could do it the easy way.
Oh, there's an easy way.
Well, the easy way, I think, is to use algebra.
Algebra.
Yeah, and let's. If each daughter has the same number of brothers and sisters, it's obvious then that this family has one more girl than it has boys.
Yeah.
So we can write a very simple expression. If we let G equal girls and B equals boys,
G equals B plus 1.
or G minus 1 equals B.
Same way.
All right?
Yeah.
Now, the second part of it, each son has twice as many sisters as brothers.
Oh.
Well, let's start with this. Let's say B minus 1 equals the number of brothers that each son has, right?
Yeah.
Then it says, and each son has twice as many sisters as brothers. then 2 times that amount, 2 times B minus 1, has got to equal G.
I got it.
So we have 2 expressions. We have G minus 1 equals B.
Yeah.
And
2 parentheses B minus 1 equals G.
And you solve them.
And it's simple.
Because it could be 14 girls and 13 boys, 9 girls, 8 boys.
It's not 3 and 1 then.
No. It's 4 girls and 3 boys.
Close.
Pretty
3.
good. Yeah.
4 and 3.
Do we have a winner?
That's pretty nice. Yeah. We do have a winner.
And you almost, Frank, this could be...
This could be the beginning.
This could be a seminal event. This could be a breakthrough moment. This could be. This could herald a new era.
It could.
Or it could have been just luck. We'll see next week. Anyway, who's our winner?
The winner is Robert Stucker from Kansas City, Missouri. And for having his answer selected at random from among the pile of correct answers that we got, Robert is going to get a $26 gift certificate to the Shameless Commerce Division at cartalk.com, with which he can get our 4-show CD collection called 4 Perfectly Good Hours. These are 4 shows that we picked because there was something particularly funny and memorable on each one of them.
Like the time a mole leaked us Bugs' letters home from sleepaway camp from when he was a kid. Letters that accurately foreshadowed his later days on the free lunch circuit.
A nice juicy pizza, I think, was the key phrase.
Yeah, when you pick me up, Mom, ask Dad to bring a nice juicy pizza.
Anyway, this collection of 4 classic Car Talk shows can be yours, Robert, if you want it, for being this week's puzzler winner, and I have to say congratulations to you.
Good work. Anyway, we have a brand new puzzler coming up in the third half of the show, so don't go raking leaves just yet. In the meantime, if you have a question about your car, we're at 888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255, a lawyer on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Marisol from Abingdon, Virginia.
Hi, Marisol. How are you?
Well, my problem is that I have a 2003 Cadillac Escalade, 111,000 miles. And my husband, who's an old-fashioned Russian, says that I do not need an oil change every 3,000 miles. He has some interesting ideas. He says this is a conspiracy by GM.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I would love to prove him wrong. He's a very smart guy, and I had to admit it, but he's usually right about everything, but I'm really hoping that he's wrong about this.
What does he recommend? If not every 3,000 or 4,000, what does he recommend for an oil change interval? How often is okay in his mind?
He hasn't given me an exact number, but I'm thinking that he'd probably be happy with 7 or 8.
7 or 8.
7 or 8 is a little on the outside edge.
And you have 100,000 miles on this now?
Yes.
And
100,000.
And how often have you been doing the oil changes?
Every 4,000 or 5,000 miles.
And you've had to fight him tooth and nail on every one, or sneak out late at night when he's asleep to do it, right?
Every time I come back from the dealer and he sees the bill, he says, another oil change? But, actually, the money is not the problem, but for some reason, he really believes that it's not necessary. And to make matters worse, his vehicle only needs them every 10,000.
What does he have?
A Porsche Cayenne S.
A Porsche Cayenne, yeah. Well, his vehicle probably has synthetic oil in it.
Yes, I believe so, because he was actually murmuring that GM should start using synthetic oils.
Yes.
He actually told me to put synthetic oil in
mine.
Well,
you could do that, and then if you did
that's not bad advice.
You could change your oil every 10,000 miles like he does. Because that's pretty much the recommendation for the synthetic oils. In fact,
which costs a lot more than regular oil.
But my car would run okay?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Oh, you have to tell me the opposite.
Well, 4,000 or 5,000 miles is not terrible.
No. If you went to 7,000 or 8,000 miles between changes with conventional petroleum-based motor oil.
That is a little on the edge.
That's maybe going a little bit too far.
Okay.
So I don't think I would agree with him in that regard. And think of the consequences of not doing frequent enough oil changes. Let's say, instead of doing them every 5,000, you do them every 8,000. So, you're getting an extra 3,000 miles out of an oil change. So in the life of the car, you may save yourself, I don't know, a few $100s by doing that over, say, 150,000 miles. right?
Yeah.
On the other hand, if it shortens the life of the engine and you don't get 150, but rather you get 100 out of it, and then the engine needs to be rebuilt, that's going to cost you $10,000 to rebuild the engine on this thing.
So GM is right. It should be done every 3,000.
Well, we have recommended 5,000 miles for most oil changes.
5 is good.
But if you put synthetic in, 10's good.
But the synthetic, how much more does it cost? Double?
Oh, it's triple, quadruple.
Triple.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem.
But synthetic oil also has other benefits. Number one, it saves you the time, so you don't have to go in as frequently.
Yeah.
But it also provides better protection for the engine, and it makes it more fuel efficient.
Now, we're planning to probably get rid of the Escalade in about 2 years. Is it worth changing to synthetic oil now?
No.
Don't waste your time.
No.
Just tell them to shut up.
Exactly. Yeah, here's what you do. When you go to the dealer from now on, tell them not to change the oil at all. When you leave the dealership, go to Jiffy Lube, pay cash for an oil change, and throw the receipt away, and then tell him, I've given up, I'm never changing the oil again, and he won't bother you anymore. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
But 5,000 miles is fine.
Okay, great.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
888-CAR-TALK. That's 888.
We helped another marriage.
Another one bites the dust. 888-CAR-TALK.
Sneak around behind his back and do something sneaky.
No.
I like it. No, it's fine.
I mean, he's so focused on this.
Yeah.
That he's going to always harp on this same issue.
Oh, he is.
And it's going to drive her crazy. So I think she's doing the right thing. She should take it to the dealer, have them do the service, no oil change, go to the corner gas station, have them do the oil change and throw the slip away. And he'll be happy. 888-CAR-TALK. Oh, I love it. Deceit. 888-227-8255.
And then she can show him the oil once in a while and say, look, it's pretty clean.
Yeah,
I
guess you're right.
Gee, hon, this is working. You're not getting any oil changes, and the oil's getting cleaner.
Does you want to encourage him? Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, guys. This is Eli from New Paris, Indiana.
Hi, Eli. What's going on, man?
Well, my bride and I recently found out that we were having triplets, so I sold my 1966 Dodge Project truck and got a 1990 Mazda minivan.
Did you really? An MPV?
MPV. It drives great, stops great, turns great. The only problem is...
Doesn't smell great. What?
It runs out of gas. Because when you fill it up with gas, the fuel gauge rises to the top. But then as you drive it, the fuel gauge does not go down in conjunction with the amount of gasoline you're actually using.
Oh, right. So the gauge is broken.
Won't go past a half a tank.
So you must have gotten this thing, and you said, what's your wife say, Martha?
Sure, we'll call her Martha.
Jeez, Martha, I can't believe we're getting like 100 miles a gallon. I filled this thing up, and I've driven like 800 miles, and we're at 7/8.
Exactly.
Said, oh, my God, am I a genius for buying this thing or what? And the next day, you were stuck by the side of the road out of gas.
Yes, I was, and I have a very wonderful brother who came and bailed me out.
Well, which is better than most of us.
I had one.
So do you want to fix this, or do you want to do it the easy way, the time-honored way?
I'm guessing the time-honored way is the odometer.
Exactly. This thing must have a trip odometer. Almost every vehicle does.
Yes.
And you can set that, but it would be nice to know what you should be getting and when you should get it filled.
See, the problem is keeping Mama and the triplets happy.
Yeah. I mean,
how imminent are the triplets?
Oh, they're any day now.
Man, is your life going to change or what?
This is just...
I mean, when you found out this was going to happen.
I sat down right on the sidewalk in the front of my house where I was standing.
And you cried. I can't do this.
I just started throwing my money in the street.
Yeah.
How did your wife feel about it?
No, she was ecstatic.
Oh, man.
So you're having 2 of one and 1 of the other, or 3 somethings?
Identical girls.
Three weddings and then your funeral. Oh boy!
Okay, what was the question?
The question was
gas.
Should he run away from home now? No, it'll. You know what? It's going to be a unique experience.
Oh man,
it's going to be wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Anyway, to get back to the issue, you need the sending unit that's in the tank.
Okay.
That's undoubtedly what's wrong. And in order to replace that thing, you've got to drop the tank down, I believe.
Not you, but someone.
Someone is going to have to replace that unit if you can even still buy one. Don't forget, the thing is 112 years old.
Now, is that the kind of thing that I should just replace the fuel pump while I'm in there?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably, yeah. Only because...
Are you going to do it yourself?
Definitely.
Oh, okay.
Definitely.
Well, the first thing to do was go to the dealership and see if they got one.
Have you done that yet? Have you priced one out?
No, I wasn't sure if it was a computer thing, ascending.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
I mean,
it's a simple thing.
Yeah, it's almost always ascending. I mean, there is a chance, of course, that it's on the dashboard. You know, that the problem is the gauge on the dash, but that's unlikely. When you turn the key off, does the gauge go all the way down to 0?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. No, it's probably not that. It's probably the sending unit in the tank.
Okay.
Good luck, Eli.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right. When the kids are born, he's going to forget all about this gas gauge.
I mean, how?
3 girls, huh?
Man.
Would you rather have? Would you rather have 3 girls or 3 boys?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter?
Whatever they are, they're going to make you crazy.
888 Car Talk. That's 888-227-8255. A lawyer on Car Talk.
Hi, guys. This is Adrian calling from Miami.
Hi, Adrian. How are you?
Adrian.
I'm doing good, but I have a car problem.
Yeah.
I drive a Honda Civic. It's a 2000. And lately, when I drive around 45 to 50 miles per hour, the front end does this vibration. It doesn't make a sound, but it feels like a blip, 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 blip. And it feels like the front end is jumping up and down.
What's the steering wheel doing?
Nothing. It's regular.
So the vibration does not feel like it's in the steering wheel.
It doesn't feel like it's coming from the steering wheel. It feels like it's coming from the front.
I think you have a dead squirrel stuck to your tire.
Probably.
Well, does it feel like you have a lump on the tire? Like every time the lump comes around, it's boom, 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 boom.
But it only happens between 45 and 50 miles per hour. And I took it to get rotated and balanced, thinking that would take care of it, but it was still there.
Did they road test it?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, so you went in and said, I think I need my tires balanced and rotated.
Correct.
Oh, what'd you do that for?
Well, I figured that would fix it.
Oh, okay.
So you diagnosed
you did the
it.
diagnosis yourself.
Well, I was hoping it would fix it.
Well, okay.
But in doing your own diagnosis, you kind of took them off the hook.
But tell us again about the noise. Does it sound like it's, I mean, is it a noise?
It's
or
not
is it
really
just
a noise.
vibration?
It just feels like a vibration, and it feels like it's like a bouncing.
And is it boom, 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 or is it boom, 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 boom?
No, it's regular. It feels regular.
And how fast is it? Yeah, I got it.
It sounds to me like you have, in spite of the fact that they balanced and rotated your tires.
It sounds like a tire.
It is tires. The tires may be rotated and balanced, but the tires are worn out and they're cupped. And what you're getting is that slapping noise of a tire that's misshapen hitting the pavement.
I just bought new tires too.
And the noise wasn't there before the new tires?
No.
And it is so when you went to these guys to have them rotate and balance the tires, was it the same guys that sold you the tires?
Yes.
Oh, Adrian, you let them off way too easily.
Can I go back?
I think you have to go back and
I would
tell
go
them.
back.
I think they sold you a bad tire.
You think that's what it is?
Yeah, and you have tread separation.
Okay.
When this happens, will it happen all the time between 45 and 50?
Yeah.
Oh, did they take it out for a ride?
No, of course not,
No.
because she told them it wasn't necessary.
You diagnosed it all. You got to go in there and you got to play Mickey the Dunce.
Okay.
Have my brother
take
take
a
it in.
lesson from my brother.
I'm listening.
I wasn't fast enough.
You weren't fast enough. If you want to play the dunce, do just like my brother would do. Go in and say, I don't know what's going on, but it's making this noise.
Let them take a ride.
Okay.
And let them decide what it is.
And let them come to the conclusion that they need to replace one or more of the tires.
And they'll figure out which one it is.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I got a feeling it's more than one tire.
And then I just wanted to let you know one more thing. I wake up just to hear your show.
And we go to sleep for the same reason.
See you later. See you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Bye.
Oh, work.
It's time for us to take a short break.
And when we come back, what happens then?
How many years have you been doing this show?
156. Why?
Then you should know that after this break, I always give out a new puzzler.
Yeah, I know that.
Then why do you ask?
Hope springs eternal, I guess. Maybe some week you'll spare us.
Oh, not this week. We'll be back with a brand new puzzler and more of your car questions in just a minute.
So please stay tuned.
Drive all night, drive all day. Can drive some memories away. Don't talk fast.
And even though Carl Castle removes us as friends from his Facebook page whenever he hears us say it, this is NPR National Public Radio. Ha! We're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappet brothers, and we're here to talk about cars, car repair, and, of course, the new Puzzler.
I can hardly wait.
Get your notepad out.
Go ahead.
This was sent in recently, actually, by a fellow named John, I'm going to say Knus, but I could be mispronouncing it. Here we go.
Knus. Okay, John.
My friend Joe lives a few blocks from me. He's a regular working stiff, just like me, though we work at different places. Now, Joe, he likes to do the right thing as he sees it, so he recently bought himself a brand-new Prius. Joe says, wow, it gets great gas mileage, almost 50 miles a gallon around town, and about 40 on the highway, even with 5 people in it, 4 passengers and the driver.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Anyway, Joe's grandmother, for years, drove a beat-up old Plymouth Voyager. He used to tease her about it getting maybe just a little more than 15 miles a gallon around town. Of course, it did a lot better on the highway with that 5-speed manual transmission and 4-cylinder engine.
Yeah.
Grandma claimed she would get something like 28 miles per gallon, maybe a little more on the highway. Whoa, pretty good.
Yeah.
But Joe hated that thing. It was underpowered, and it was ugly.
Oh, yeah.
Well, when Grandma died, you guessed it, she willed the she willed the Voyager to him. It sat in Joe's driveway for a couple of weeks while he advertised it for sale in the paper, but, as you would expect, no takers. I went on my vacation at about this time. Returning from Sand in Your Shorts Beach in Florida, I drove by his house on my way home, and there was the Voyager still in the driveway, but it looked like it had been driven. Joe was home, so I stopped in. What's up? I asked. Decide to keep that nifty Voyager? Joe says, well, yeah. I realized that it could get as good mileage as the Prius if I didn't drive it all the time.
Huh?
Exactly. Huh? So is Joe flipped out, or is there something going on here? Now, if you think Joe is flipped out.
If I didn't drive it all the time.
How
about I only drove it down hills?
Well, you could drive the Prius down hills too, but there's more to the story than you think. So if you think you know what the answer is,
yeah,
okay, write it on the back of a Pioneer Elite Curo 60-inch flat panel HD TV with 1080p resolution, 4 independent HDMI 1.3 inputs, detachable side speakers, room light sensor, of course, and built-in cable card, and send it along with a Whirly's old-fashioned commercial-grade popcorn machine to Puzzler Tower, Car Talk Plaza, Box 3500, Harvard Square, Cambridge.
Our fair city.
Matt 02238.
Or you can email us your answer from cartalk.com.
But if you have a car question for us, we're at 888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hello, this is Clayton. I'm calling from Nacogdoches, Texas.
From where?
Clayton, Nacogdoches.
Nacogdoches, Texas. It's the oldest city in Texas.
It's also a river.
Nacogdoches.
That it is.
The Nacogdoches River. Yeah, no,
yep.
I've been there. I
Wow.
believe it's one of the famous rivers cited in the song "The Rivers of Texas."
I do not know that song at all.
Oh well, you'd have to check out that song. It's an oldie, but it's a goodie. Anyway, what's going on?
Well, I have a 2004 Ram 2500 with the Cummins in it and an automatic transmission.
Wow.
And when I go between about 40 and 50 miles an hour, it drops its 2 lowest gears. I'll have it at about 2,000 RPM, and it'll be about 45 miles an hour. And if you put your finger at a clock with your finger pointed at noon, it'll go from 11 to 10 to 9 in about 2 seconds and drop 2 different gears. Is this a bad thing?
It'll downshift 2 gears?
It'll go do-do, and then just start going in its heaviest gear.
No,
and the RPMs goes down from 2,000 to 900?
Oh, from about 2,000 to about 1,800 to about 1,600.
Oh, so it's upshifting.
So it's not downshifting, it's upshifting.
Yeah, upshifting. There you go. Yeah. It's finishing out its shifting sequence, but it's doing 2 of them in one step.
Yeah.
Oh, in other words, it's going from second to fourth.
It's basically, yeah. It feels like it's shifting multiple gears at the same time.
Yeah, geez, it sounds like you have some valve sticking in the transmission. I don't know. That's going to be an electronically controlled transmission. Is your check engine light on?
Nope.
No.
How many miles are on this thing?
48,000. And I'm concerned because I just replaced both ball joints. Like, this truck is literally falling apart on me.
No, it's got no miles. It can't fall apart yet.
Yeah. What made you buy this truck anyway? What do you do with it?
Actually, I was given to me. It was on my grandparents' ranch, and when they sold their ranch, they gave it to me to replace my old beat-up truck.
Oh, that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
And they hadn't had any troubles with it that at least they told you about.
No, but the truck we had before that, its transmission went out at 50,000 miles, and it was the exact same thing. It was a 1997 Dodge Ram Cummins Turbo.
It was.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
this is a transmission guy you got to go see.
Okay.
Yeah, before you go see the transmission guy, go to the bank and see how much money you can borrow. See the loan officer. In fact, if you're going to make an appointment with the vice president of loans, you might want to see him first.
Well, and you might want to just forget about the whole thing.
Well, wait a minute, though.
I think you have to go see
this thing.
guy.
Doesn't this have a powertrain warranty from Chrysler?
That went out at 40,000 miles. And what's weird is, like, the ball joints just went out, and they said if I hadn't replaced them, they would have caved in.
Well, the ball joints were a lot less money than this is going to cost you. This is going to cost you a couple of $1,000, and I would take it to the dealer from whom it was purchased, and I imagine maybe your family's bought quite a few vehicles from them over the years.
We've bought a few, yes.
Yeah, and I would take it to them and throw yourself on the mercy of the service manager.
Yeah, and say, what the heck is this all about?
How would you feel if you bought this thing, expecting it to be, it's a turbo diesel, it's a brute, it's a workhorse, and here we are at 48,000 miles, and the transmission is conked out.
Yeah.
I would take it back and not complain, but ask what he would do if what he would expect you to do if the roles were reversed.
Okay.
Because if this is going to cost a few $1,000, I think you'd rather have Chrysler pay for it.
Yeah.
And you should ask to see the zone rep and tell them, you're very disappointed. This is the 19th Chrysler product you've bought, and it's whatever. And it's a disappointment that it has conked out. And if, in fact, you know of others that have conked out earlier, you might want to bring some data to support that.
Okay.
Good luck, man.
All right. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Wow.
Bye.
Bye.
888 Car Talk. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Amy from Louisville, Kentucky.
Hi, Amy.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Well, we don't know yet.
Wonderful.
We're working on something, but we're
We're
not sure.
Wonderful. We know that.
Well, you
We've
might be a
never
little
been
worse for
wonderful.
the wear after this one.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Well, this isn't a question about a specific car, but actually every car in the universe.
Ah.
Oh, really?
This is my father, an old car collector and mechanic. This is a question that has plagued him for about 3 decades.
I hope we can help him.
Well, he's sought out other mechanics and physics professors and hasn't been able to get an answer. So now you're up.
We have a physics, what do we call him?
Expert or consultant.
A consultant from Harvard University.
Well,
Wolfgang. But if we need Wolfgang, we will certainly get him out of the drunk tank if we have to. But in the meantime, we'll try to answer your question.
And we always have our connection at MIT, Professor Teaser.
Right.
Well, good.
He's 102 years old, but he knows.
He knows.
Okay, go ahead.
He knew enough to flunk my brother, and that's right in my book. So go ahead, Amy.
Okay. So let's say I go check the air pressure in one of my tires on my car.
Yeah.
And let's say it says 40 PSI.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I then jack up the car or put it on a lift, either or. So now the weight of the car is not bearing on the tire.
Yeah.
I recheck the pressure, and as I'm sure you know, it still says 40 PSI.
PSI, yes.
Without a 2,000 to 3,000 pound car bearing down on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why does the weight of the car not change the amount of pressure that the air is pushing against the wall of the tire?
And he has consulted many, many experts on this, and no one has given him an answer?
No, they've joined him in his frustration.
So now that they've consulted all the experts, they're going to try a couple of knuckleheads. Well, see, I don't think that the volume of the tire changes enough to change the pressure.
That's what he said he thought you would say.
Because it's not the weight of the car that's producing the pressure. It's the fact that it's put in there under that pressure. And it doesn't matter if the car's floating in the air or if you're sitting on it or not.
It might make a difference. Let's say the car didn't weigh 3,000 pounds, but weighed 300,000 pounds.
And then it would change the volume of the tire.
It might, but it might not. It may just deform the tire in such a way that it's flat on the bottom, but bulged out on the top. Imagine if you would,
and that wouldn't change.
It might not change it. Imagine if you would that the tire was able to deform in such a way that it went completely flat on the bottom, but the rest of the tire ballooned up.
It would still have the same.
I think
40
I think
PSI.
the pressure might be the same.
I do too.
Well, and he thought you might say that it changes slightly and that it does conform to pressure. And he said, in case they say that.
In case, well, I think what we're saying is the weight. So in order to defend ourselves against all the physicists who are at this moment hammering away at the keyboards, I think what we're saying is basically the weight of the car is insignificant in this case.
Okay.
But if the car
and so the volume of the tire is staying the same. And as such, the pressure is going to stay the same. And more than that, if it does change, the instrument that you're measuring it with, the pressure that is not sensitive enough to measure a hundredth of a pound differential in the pressure, which may in fact exist.
Well, I hope he'll take that and get off my case.
Well, I'm sure now that you've opened this can of worms, Amy, that we are going to get a veritable flood of corrections.
Yeah,
And
both of us flunked the same course.
How many times did you flunk it, though?
I only flunked it once.
No, I never flunked that course. I got an A in 801.
You did?
I did.
And I'll tell you what Professor Teaser said to me. He said, Mr. Magliozzi, I am going to do you a favor. I'm going to give you an F.
Wow.
Well, and yeah.
It's the only time it ever happened to me.
What, and your only F?
My only F, yeah.
Wow, how many D's? A lot of D's?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, sometimes, Amy, an F is better than a D because a D gives you the false impression that you learned something.
Yeah.
Well, and also you can add a line to an F and make it an A.
Yes, you can.
Good thinking.
Not that I've ever done that.
Oh, we have Wolfgang?
All right, Amy, we have it on good authority that we have reached Wolfgang.
Okay.
Wolfgang is our, what do you call it?
Resident physics.
Resident, that's it. Resident physicist. And
From
he's
Harvard, you know.
He's on the line here somewhere. Are you there, Wolfgang?
I'm right here.
Oh, boy, oh, boy.
All right. Okay, so Wolfgang, you aware what the question is? Did anyone tell you what's going on?
I heard it's a question about tire pressure.
Right. It's a question about tire pressure. So Amy's father wants to know if the car is on the floor and the tire pressure reads 40 psi, when you lift the car up off the ground and the tires are dangling, why doesn't the tire pressure change? And our contention is that the tires don't deform enough to change the pressure, you know, when it's on the ground.
I don't like that answer.
Because the weight of the car is insignificant. And
what if it did change the tire?
Well, that's why we have Wolfgang on the line.
Yeah.
Wolfgang, enlighten us, please.
I guess we have to know.
Help.
What is it that's causing the pressure, and would the weight of the car make any difference or not?
Okay, the pressure inside the tire is determined by how much gas you put in, so the number of molecules, their temperature, the hotter it is, you know, the more pressure, and the volume of the tire.
Yeah.
Right.
So whether the tire is on the ground or the car is up in the air, that's all the same.
Right. The number of molecules doesn't change.
Right. The temperature doesn't change, and the volume doesn't change. Now, if you do put the car on the ground and put a huge weight on it, then the tires will deform, and then the volume will change a little bit.
It will change a little bit.
Yeah.
So what would be, do you think, if it's a 3,000-pound car, what do you think would have to be the weight of the car in order to notice, say, a 1-pound differential, to go from 40 to 41? Is that a reasonable question?
Or to 39.
That certainly is a reasonable question. Do I have an answer? I don't know.
Well, I mean,
you should do what we do. We just make up an answer.
No, I mean, if we could just keep adding 1,000-pound weights to the roof of this car.
Well, I mean, clearly if you squash the tire completely flat, then the volume has decreased, and so the pressure has to go up. So if you put so much weight on that you squish it right down to the rim, then you have reduced the volume and the pressure will go up in the tires. But that's really extreme.
And changing the load on the 4 tires from 3,000 pounds to 0 when you lift it off the ground
Big deal.
doesn't make enough difference for the gauge to pick up a different
Child's play.
Your gauge is not that accurate.
The gauge is not that. Thank God.
Wolfgang,
you've bailed us out again. I'm satisfied that our original answer at least agrees with what Wolfgang feels, that and Amy should be happy with this answer.
I hope so.
Amy?
Yes?
You think this will shut Dad up?
Well, I fear that you've now prompted him to start filling one of his cars with sandbags.
There's always the uncertainty.
There's always uncertainty. I'm sure we'll get
you might have your head up your keister as well, but you sound so good.
Right, it's much
you
more
sound
articulate.
so definite about it.
Thanks.
We came to the same conclusion as you.
Thanks for your help, Wolfgang.
Thank you very, very much.
Good talking to you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Amy.
Isn't it something
Bye.
that you can ask people like Wolfgang anything? I mean, anything. And they have an answer.
Get him back on the line.